Good afternoon, my friends and followers of this channel, and to the members, thank you very much for continuing to support me on a direction where we call out nonsense, hypocrisy, double standards, but most of all, we call out the bullshit which is portrayed towards us by mainstream media. Now, for many years, I have not been a fan of the human rights legislation. I have seen human rights lawyers protect the most evil people in society because everyone has got human rights, including evil people, including those that carry the most heinous crimes on the public. They still fall under the same human rights law as me and you, which means prisoners in jail have the same rights. They carry out evil crimes in the UK and they get locked up. Some get locked up for life, but they still have the same rights as you. A guy who does some heinous crimes to a woman has the same rights as that woman on the outside of jail. Yeah, prisoners get everything handed to them. They do, and we've seen it. We see this so-called myth of crime doesn't pay. Well, that's a bit backfired, hasn't it? We now know crime does pay. People that kill people, blow things up, do heinous things, they go to jail, we'd like to think. But while they're in jail, yes, under human rights law, they must get the same treatment as those outside. So while they're in jail, having been punished, they study degrees. They get doctorates. They still have access to the internet. They can still troll their victims on the outside. Not nice, is it? And by the way, we can't deport them back to their own countries because of human rights legislation protects them. Crazy, isn't it? Imagine having the same rights as people that pay taxes when you have illegally entered their country. Human rights law, legislation, and human rights lawyers are the most heinous people. Now, I understand that we are all entitled to rights, human rights, but you see people exploiting that for their own financial gain. Now, the Conservative Party for many years have always told us we need to scrap human rights. The problem we have is those that have arrived in our country illegally now vote for the current government. So why would they scrap human rights? Why would Labour dare to scrap human rights legislation when the majority of people that arrive in our country illegally voted them in? Difficult situation, isn't it? So what do? Well, we need to revoke human rights legislation to protect our citizens. But then our citizens will complain that they haven't got human rights when they do have human rights. The worst thing that happened to our country is the fact that we fell under hammer and tong of the European Court of Human Rights. European Court of Human Rights gives us the legislation that we must abide by. And that legislation is treating everyone equal. Unfortunately, the fact is, not everyone is equal. Evil should not be equal to good. You should not give evil individuals the same rights as good people. Until that happens, our country will continue to go on a downward spiral. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you for supporting my channel, and have a wonderful day.